Hello, and welcome to a MabsArts Produced Podcast.
Are you looking to make a podcast? Because if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other platforms. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast, all in one place. So go ahead, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello, hope you're having a wonderful day. Just a quick word from our sponsors. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had so many questions. How did I record an episode? Where do I find background music? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other platforms people like to listen? Where do I find advertisers? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, distributing, and monetizing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and 100% ridiculously easy to use. I use it for all sorts of things, from my interview podcast to my self-love podcast to my even just journal podcast. It's a great tool to have. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
I'm your host, Mabs, and this is 5 Minutes of Self-Love. Hello, and welcome to our first episode. So what is 5 Minutes of Self-Love? Well, 5 Minutes of Self-Love is a MabsArts Produced Podcast that tries to bring positivity, peace, harmony, and love into your personal lives. How do we do this? Well, with a series of affirmations, some off-the-cuff talk, and just general good vibes, with some music in the background. So, today is Friday, and I think it's a good time to start the weekend with some general niceness. So, with that said, let's begin by doing a series of affirmations to help us through the weekend. Repeat after me. I have done the best that I can during this week. I have done the best that I can during this week. I have done the best that I can during this week. I deserve a great weekend. I deserve a great weekend. I deserve a great weekend. All my needs are met in a divine manner. All my needs are met in a divine manner. All my needs are met in a divine manner. Now, to close off the affirmation segment, repeat this last sentence. This or something better now manifests for me in perfect timing. And that's it. I've been your host, Antonio Mabs, and we just took reality towards a new direction. And for that, we're grateful. We got some more time left, and I think it'd be a good thing, or a good time rather, to discuss maybe just a couple of quotes that might help you out. Right now I'm reading a quote that a friend gave me and put up on my wall. It says, "Everything that seems negative in our life is really a blessing." Amen. What a beautiful quote, huh? It's about, seeing the good in the bad even. Not really the bad, it's not bad. It's just change. And we're human beings and we need to learn to adapt. The more we do this, the more flexible we are, the least resistance we show, the better at life will we be. It seems so complex, and the words just make it sound so simple. How do we let go of that resistance? I think it's by having that kind of, mind state. Realizing that the bad is as precious as the good. And that without the bad, or without the contrast, rather, we couldn't appreciate the good, really, Live in the middle. Live in the middle. Not to one side, not to the other, not too positive, not too negative, just right through the middle. In peace, in harmony. Counting your blessings, being grateful, being joyous, smiling, being whimsical, magical, innocent, free. Well, with that, I say goodbye. Thank you for stopping by. I've been your host, Mabs, and you've been listening to a MabsArts Produced Podcast, 5 minutes of self-love. Thank you for listening, and we hope you have a blessed life. So be it. Namaste.